One of my first Sundays in Germany as associate pastor in the congregation where I was just recently installed was the Back to School Sunday. And it means that all the children, elementary school children from all the local schools were bused to the church for this first starting off the school year Sunday. And I was standing up front, and 200 children filled the sanctuary, all their teachers and all together. And I opened my mouth, said a sentence, and the whole sanctuary, all the children erupted in laughter. I felt like sinking through that floor. I felt like, what's wrong? What's going on here? And I became very self-conscious, very aware of my accent that was very different, a German accent back from our roots in Transylvania, that was very different from the church and the children and their schools where I had moved. Imagine from the deep south in Georgia, someone coming here to New York or New England, and they start speaking, and children who had never heard that may think like, whoa, that sounds funny. It wasn't about me, it wasn't about the children, it was just this eruption. But in that situation, I felt like shriveling up and sinking. Now, the beautiful thing about it was this Sunday, and the message was about Abraham and Sarah, how God called them from their original home in Chaldea, in Ur, to move to the land, the promised land, to Canaan. Guess what? Abram and Sarah would have had not just an accent, they spoke a foreign language and all of that. So I tied it together with that, and all was rescued. But that was kind of a gift to tie together. We experience that in growing up, that sometimes in middle school, children can be very hard, and some are left out, some are ridiculed, some are laughed, some of the bullying, all of that is going on, and it's not limited to children. I heard someone say, well, the other side of the river, it's not Sunbury, it's Scumbury. Yeah. We have it among us, in our midst. I hear some people who have moved new to town, they have lived here for 25, 30 years, and they still say, like, I'm not quite home here in good, solid, grounded Snyder County. It's like, yes, we are different, and we have a tendency to keep to ourselves, to our small groups, and not open up to new ones, to people who are different than we are. What I love about our scripture reading today is that Jesus is so human that he not just experienced the same, but he learned from a beautiful, beautiful, wonderful woman that he acted like that too. And that gives me goosebumps, my friends, when I think of the Jesus I love, the Jesus whom I adore, the Jesus in God's presence, the ideal, the one who shows me how to be wonderful, divine, kind, and caring, this very Jesus draws a line to a foreigner. This desperate woman from Syrophoenicia, she's kind of a foreigner. Think here someone who is not from the United States, comes and says, help me. She's desperate because her baby is hurting. A mother who is desperate because her baby is hurting. We can all feel that. And Jesus says, literally, you don't take the food from the children and give it to the dogs. In other words, it's almost like he's considering her family, her tribe, her cohort as dogs, less than human. But she pushes up and says, you know what? It's not about either or, feeding the children and not the animals. We can do both. The children eat at the table and the dogs get crumbs too. So from the thinking of there is not enough for all, there's only enough for the children. We come first and then everyone else. And I can see it, how this sinks into Jesus, a desperate woman who is yearning for healing for her daughter, for her baby. And Jesus is learning from her how to be inclusive. Wow. Wow. What can we do? What are the small steps that you and I can do to become more inclusive or become more aware or become more like the Jesus who had learned from this woman? 3 things. One is to see, to actually see, and take the second look and the third look, and look at the person second time, and look for the heart and soul, look for what is not visible on the surface. Look again. That's what in its core, the root of the word respect is. Spect, the spectacles, you look with the spectacles. Respect, look again. So looking again, tell you what happens to me. And looking again, I mean not just to the person, but observe yourself to your reactions. I walked on Market Street to the post office, and on the opposite side of the road, I saw this African-American man, big beard, dark hair. He had earbuds in, and he was just dancing it out. I noticed, I looked once, and immediately I looked away. And I thought, what was that about? And then I looked again, and I recognized in myself, to whom do I look and keep looking? And to whom do I look and look away quickly? What I admire in children and why I deeply believe Jesus calls us to be like children is children look, and they look, and they look. Have you ever seen the children look? And they look without judgment. They just look. Look. And I think that's one thing we can do. See the person and keep seeing and looking beyond the outward appearance, but look at the heart. Look at that person, who they are. Second thing is, Turn, and it's connected with the seeing, turn to another person. Every church I go to, every church I hear about, whenever you ask the people at a church, they always say, we're the friendliest church in town. We're the friendliest church in town. Always true when you ask someone. What it means is that those who already belong, those who are part of the church, have wonderful friendships. They're just like this huddle. They just huddle together. It's the most lovely experience. But what is it like for someone who comes to the church when all the people there huddle together? Can you see that? Have you ever been totally new to a family reunion that's not your family? What is it like? You can be the friendliest, most comfortable with one another. I think of this huddling, being this circle, intimate, close, warm-hearted. And we all need that. That's part of who we are. But at what point does this circle, each one of us, turn outward? We warm each other by the flame around the campfire. Our hearts get warmed. And then we turn outward to walk into our week, to see the other people, to recognize them, to invite them in, to be that warmth turned outward. You see the difference. You know it. So where and how do you turn to someone who is not family, who is not friend, who is new, who doesn't belong, who is more on the margin, more on the outside, who is quiet, who feels like standing more in a corner, not belonging, not connecting? That's the second thing I think we can do. And the third thing, be kind. And you see the signs up here. Just be kind. It's so plain and simple, down to earth. We visited over our vacation with our son, Max, and Felix went with us to New Haven. And we ate at this place. It's called Claire's Cornucopia. Lovely place. And she has this big motto there, right on top inside when you walk in. You cannot overlook it. Be kinder than necessary. I love these signs when I see them in town. United Way, beautiful job. Will you take a sign with you? We have them outside and post them. But don't just take the sign, be that kindness in action. Will you do that? See and see again. Turn to someone else and be kinder than necessary. Wow, what power is in that, isn't it?